All right, good morning, everyone. Got a 5-game NBA DFS slate for you here on Tuesday. This is kind of the sweet spot. Everyone kind of likes the 4 to 6 game slates the most, and probably we had to choose a slate. It'd probably be a 5-game slate the most. So there is some slate impacting injury news that I'm excited to get into. So without further ado, let's get into it. So we got news that Devin Booker is going to be out in this game, and that's going to open up really kind of easier lineup path, I think, just throughout the whole night. So starting with that, guys, looking at it, Chris Paul should be kind of just a safe play. Okay, production is kind of there. His per 36 DK point total or fantasy point total is going to be 39 fantasy points per 36 with Devin Booker off the court. So that should be a safe in theory. The player that actually gets the most minutes is going to be Damian Lee. So with him, his usage rate is 15.6% with Booker off the court, and his DK point total per 36. And I don't know if we can project him to get that much. Okay. And that's something I can pull up here. So around 29 minutes for him. Okay. So with that, you'd kind of think that he'd be able to get to around 20 DK. Basically what I'm assuming there. And at that price point, he's going to kind of be someone that I think we're just going to need to be looking at. From there, Campaign is definitely someone we'd be looking at on this slate. Campaign with Devin Booker off the court has biggest bump in usage, 11% bump in usage with Booker off the court. His usage rate would then be 32%. And his DK point total per 36 or fantasy point total per 36 is 44. So obviously that's huge. Obviously you would like that there from Campaign. He'd be someone that on this slate I think I'm going to be looking at, especially in GPPs. And then from there, DeAndre Ayton, it just kind of would solidify him as a safe play. Okay. Ayton, 24% usage rate with Booker off the court and averages 49 fantasy points per 36 with Booker off the court. So, it kind of feels like the starting point would be to go with the Suns just based off of that thus far. And then just one other thing I want to touch on, Golden State Warriors, or two other things real quick. Golden State Warriors, Andrew Wiggins currently listed as out. Okay. With that, we might see Jonathan Kuminga get some more run, maybe like 20 minutes or so. He does get the second most minutes with Wiggins off the court. So just something to monitor there. Can he go for 20 DK points? Possible. Dante DiVincenzo, revenge night. Although, come on, you go from the Bucks to the Warriors. Arguably the two best teams in the league. I don't think very spiteful at all. And then just something to monitor. Drew Holiday currently questionable. If he is inactive, then I think we'd be looking at Javon Carter as a decent value play. I'd be expecting around 20 DK points. Now, George Hill gets the most minutes with Drew Holiday off the court. I think that's more or less just due to the fact that when Drew Holiday's been off the court, Javon Carter's been on the court a little bit, and also like it's just at the end of the game or something like that. So I do think it'd be Javon Carter if Drew Holiday sits. So now getting into the value side of it, which players are going to be the top plays on this slate? Okay, looking at the OF index, Joel Embiid is ranking out as the top play, then Giannis, then Anthony Davis. I think it is kind of nice to point out James Harden and also Zion. They're priced below 10K, but they're also popping up a decent amount. So those could be two players we are looking at. Sabonis, kind of just a solid safe play, especially if Fox is out. Just kind of cements him as a play. Now let's just look at the value that's out there right now. Valanciunas, J-Val, popping up 5.7 on FanDuel and on DraftKings. That's fine. We're fine with that. See the minutes there, 25 minutes. Yeah. Obviously he's always just a minutes guy. Can pop on any slate. Obviously with being a 5-game slate, he's someone that's popping up more. Jordan Poole could definitely benefit with Wiggins being off the court. And the price point there on FanDuel is pretty cheap. He is someone that, also kind of solidifies his role a little bit more. But obviously with the Golden State Warriors, it could be Curry, it could be Clay. Poole at that price point is definitely someone that's firmly in play. Chris Middleton potentially, if Drew Holiday sits as well, I think that would kind of project his usage to go up more. Now, we don't have any data on that this season, okay? Because, Chris Middleton just hasn't played that much. Obviously, he'd kind of just be the number 2, though, in that offense. Looney seems to always be a little bit too cheap. Marcus Smart had a terrible night last night. You'd expect him to bounce back a little bit. Torrey Craig, maybe, potentially. James Harden popping up there. Okay, let's look at DK value. So yeah, Chris Middleton, $900 cheaper on DraftKings. If you are looking to play him, that is where you are playing. It's as simple as that. Same thing with DeAndre Ayton. Can you play him still on FanDuel? You can. I think he will hit value at that price point. But on DraftKings, he's almost basically a lock there. That's going to be tough to pass up on. CJ McCollum, very cheap on DraftKings as well. It doesn't take much for him to hit value at that price point as well. And then the same players popping up there. Dario Saric is kind of interesting. You could potentially see them give him more run. Got 21 minutes in the last game, and he has seen some games in which he's been able to get some minutes. That's really the biggest question with him is if he can get some minutes, he could be a strong kind of value play for you, especially on a 5-game slate, especially in the morning where, we don't have too much injury news, too much obvious value out there just yet. So he could be someone that right now you're just plugging in there. So I did do this video a little bit earlier in the morning than I typically do, so we don't have the ownership projections out there just yet. So just going to be getting into the lineup process here for you guys. As we saw, I do think starting out with the Phoenix Suns players is going to be a great starting point. Also, Jay Val was popping up there, as a pretty strong play. If he gets 25 minutes, especially against Utah, that's the big thing. He should be a very strong play. The toughest part I see about this slate is that we know Joel Embiid just been on a tear. He is someone that you do want to pay up for if you can. That's an issue because, obviously Aiden and Val, those are two players we want to go out of our way to play. Then you toss in Sabonis, who also, been on a very solid run recently as well. That's where this slate gets difficult because obviously we can only play two of those centers. And then toss in the fact that we could be looking at, and I guess this is something I could have brought up during the injury section, there's Boston value out there. And I didn't bring this up because I think potentially Blake Griffin could sit, okay? Coming off of a back-to-back, and they're on the back end of a back-to-back, I think he could potentially sit. You already got Al Horford ruled out and Robert Williams ruled out. Okay, if Al Horford sits, it'd be Luke Cornett, Mr. Shot Blocker, Rim Blocker, the Cornett contest, whatever. You guys have seen that clip where he's jumping, blocking the view of the rim. Yeah, okay. He would be someone that would be an interesting play if Blake Griffin gets ruled out, okay? And let me just see which one the model has projected to get more point or more minutes. Okay, so it's got Griffin at about 20 and then Cornett about 10. Okay, so I think if Blake Griffin gets ruled out, then Cornett would be a good play. If Blake Griffin's active, he is also going to be a great center play, especially price point wise. That is kind of my issue on this slate. I will say Grant Williams, kind of just someone I've been ending up on, should be a strong price point play, should be a safe play is what I should say. Minutes are going to be there, around 30 minutes or so. Just needs to be productive in those minutes. Just needs to get us 25 DK points, FanDuel points, okay? Grant Williams, I do like. I think we're going to be playing him in the small forward spot, just given that injury. We'll say as well, Malcolm Brogdon in that same game. Malcolm Brogdon, just a solid, productive player each and every game. He's probably getting shafted a little bit by the Celtics minutes wise because the team's good. If he was on a different team, he could be Lauri Markkanen, where he's just dominating on a not so good team. I know the Jazz have been better than expected, but you get what I'm saying. He is someone at this price point on this slate thus far I think we could be rolling with as well as a price point play. So which other guards do I like on this slate? James Harden. Obviously, James Harden is someone I want to be paying up for as well. So what I might do is I might put James Harden, who, just been on a tear going against the Kings. I think we can expect 50 DK points, FanDuel points out of him as well. I think he's going to be a strong play. And then from there, I think we just go Lee at the small forward spot. That's kind of how I would manipulate that lineup. Curry, can he go off? Sure. I mean, if you're an NBA fan, you're very much looking forward to this game. Heck, I should drive up to Milwaukee because I'm in southern Wisconsin. I should drive up to Milwaukee and watch because this is going to be an awesome game. Like, for NBA fans, it doesn't really get much better than tonight's game against Golden State versus Milwaukee, except for the fact that, well, Drew Holiday could be out and Andrew's out. Besides that, pretty fun. And I know some big basketball heads are like, well, we got Boston versus Lakers as well. Lakers are not. This could potentially be a, preview of the NBA champ. So that's what's exciting about it. CJ McCollum was someone that was popping up there, and I think that's mostly due to the matchup with the Jazz and obviously coming off of a very good game as well. A GPP play. If he's hot shooting the basketball, could easily go out and have a spectacular game. I don't think it's someone that's safe, but also at the same time, is someone that I think we would trust as a play as well. If we were to get news that Mike Conley wasn't going to have his minutes restricted, he would be a very strong price point play. I don't think we're going to get that news. I think he is still going to be on a minutes restriction, so not exactly someone you need to play. And then, yes, Javon Carter, I think, would just be someone you're locking in if Drew Holiday gets ruled out. Now looking at the forwards, Giannis and Tatum, they're more or less okay, good enough plays. Like, I don't feel the need to go out of my way to play them, okay? Now Zion, I kind of do feel the need to go out of my way to play him. Just been on a tear recently, okay? Guy has just been dominating, and you would argue that he should be a 10K price point play. I don't really get why he's not priced that high. He's really been dominating, so he is someone that I do think at 9.5, we just need to be going out of our way to play, kind of lock in that 50 DK points, and with the upside to go for 6. Lauri Markkanen's back, and he's below AK. I kind of just like playing him in that scenario. Could Bridges go out and have a good game with Booker out? He certainly can. Kind of like CJ McCollum, I see him more as a GPP only play. So I want to call this out as well. Herbert Jones is probable tonight. So that means someone like Murphy, not going to be as stellar of a play. He had been on a great stretch there. Herbert Jones should eat into his minutes slightly. And then also someone like Larry Nance, who, kind of been really productive in his last 3 games, those minutes should be not there as well. Now, if we get news different than that, throughout the day, then we can adjust. But as it sits right now, I think he will eat into both Nance's and maybe Murphy's minutes, and production is just the grand scheme of things. The production, I don't think, will be there as much for those 2 players. So looking at this build, where should we make a pivot? That's kind of for you guys to decide. If you want to go down from Chris Paul to maybe Brogdon, you could. If you want to go down from J-Val, Griffin, you could do that. The thing is, we do have an easy kind of adjustment thus far on this slate, which I am enjoying. But that's all we have for you guys for this video. Just a reminder, if you enjoy the coverage, make sure to give a like and subscribe. If you want access to any of the tools that you saw in this video, click the links in the description below. As well, we have a link in the Discord chat below as well. So click that if you guys want to join the Discord chat. That goes live before lock, about 30 minutes before. All right. So if you guys want to check that out, go ahead. All right. Thanks for watching. And as always, good luck.